Almost every morning, the architect Stephen Hall wakes in his loft-like West Village apartment just before sunrise, climbs to an elevated platform by windows that offer a panoramic view of Manhattan, and paints. "Sometimes it's a building I'm working on there, the concept drawings," said Mr. Hall. 70 other times, it has nothing to do with any building. I just do what I feel. He has followed a similar ritual since 1979, when he decided to limit his creations to 5 by 7-inch watercolors, which are small enough to paint on airplane tray tables when he travels. Today, he has an archive of more than 30,000 such works, organized chronologically. "It's a memory bank," he said on a recent morning, before using his iPhone to snap a photo of that day's work, a painting of a potential sports facility in Moscow, and email it to his staff in New York, Russia, and China. That making art is integral to Mr. Hall's creative process should perhaps not come as a surprise. He has designed buildings for numerous arts institutions, including the Kiisma Museum of Contemporary Art in Helsinki, Finland, and the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City, MO. In 2018, he expects to finish the Institute for Contemporary Art at Virginia Commonwealth University, along with the expansions of the Museum of Fine Arts, Houston, and the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington. In 2010, Mr. Hall also founded T-Space, a nonprofit summertime arts center in Rhinebeck, NY. The apartment he shares with his wife, Dimitra Tsakrilia, 34, and their 1-year-old daughter, Io, is filled with works by artists and architects he has collaborated with or admired, including Louis Kahn, Zaha Hadid, Anish Kapoor, Richard Tuttle, and Richard Schwager. These are edited excerpts from our conversation. How do you decide what to collect? I don't really collect art. I trade art. The meaning for me is the spiritual connection with the person. Richard Tuttle is a friend. I did a little guest house for him in Abiquiu, NM, called the Turbulence House. I have a sculpture that he gave me in trade for the architectural fee. Pointing toward the kitchen at a framed work on the floor, resting against the wall. There's a Kapoor. I wrote an article for him, for a show he had in New York with a big catalog. In exchange, he gave me that. You're especially fond of a drawing by Richard Schwager. How did you meet him? I met him at some opening in 1998. Then I got a phone call from him, "Can I come over? I want to trade art with you." He brought 2 or 3 of these pieces in a portfolio and asked me for watercolors to trade. It was really out of the blue. And then he wrote, "For Stephen Hall, friend in art," on this one. He was a very close friend. We had a big show of his at T-Space before he died. What about the pieces by Zaha Hadid? Zaha and I went to school together at the Architectural Association in London. When I first came to New York, we did a thing called the Pamphlet Architecture Reading Room in 1980. Every architect made a pamphlet and a chair. She made the invitation, and I have the original card from the invitation.